Welcome back to the channel where we build a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Now yesterday was a big day because we ended up getting our spellcast working. So if we use our focus and we're in a successful spellcast range, we're able to now get our spells around us. Now I don't like that it just appears and disappears in one frame. So one thing I do want to try to add today is to fade it on and fade it out. So it doesn't just have one frame of it being on, but more of a gradual coming on. And then I also do want to play around a little with a particle system to maybe add a little bit more magical effects to our spell casting. So maybe we can figure that out today. I've only done a particle system in Love2d once before, and it wasn't very good, but we'll try to figure it out today. So let's get started here. Make sure we're recording for YouTube. Now we're going to be doing flame fading and particle system. Okay, so we'll give this a shot here. We do want to also refactor some of our stuff from yesterday if we can, because I don't think we're actually using our flame idle state at all. Now, let me actually see if I take out our state machine, does it crash? It does. Okay, so I guess we do need to, our entity has to be rendered somehow, and we have an entity walk state. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we can change it. Let's see what our entity states are. And, okay. Yeah, this isn't great. We would have to change our flame animations to be called idle and a direction in order for it to render the current frame. Now we could do that. It's just a little weird to call our flame object a idle down, you know? So we don't have to do that because we do have a flame idle that is just rendering it and changing the animation. So I don't even think we need to require the entity or scene, but it'll crash if we don't have that, if we don't have the state machine turned on. So I guess we do need this, even though the code is very simple. It's just that every other entity has a direction. Our spellcast doesn't really have a direction of idle to be, so we can't really do it for that. But that's okay. So let's make sure we're understanding how we're getting our render here for our spellcast. Now we're doing it in our scene class. So ideally, we trigger the alpha channel to ramp up to full opaqueness if it's in a successful spellcast, and anytime it's not in a successful spellcast, it ramps down to 0, but not negative. And then same with fading in, we don't want it past 255 for the opaqueness, and then we should be able to trigger some sort of rendering here now, some sort of fading. So we can give ourselves a value called, we can call it spellcast fade. And it starts at 0. So what we need to do is anytime we're in a successful spellcast, which right now we're only doing it for every flame, but we have to also kind of set it before we render the flame, we want to set the color, the opaqueness that we're rendering it at. So let's check if our entity class is deferring our rendering to our state machine, then our flame idle state machine color will be what we need to change. So let's hop over to our flame idle and give us a set color, love.graphics.setColor. And the color we want to, let's just test setting it to white, but half opaqueness, and we'll see if this is working. Now, we probably wouldn't set it here unless we're passing in the variable for what opaqueness to render it at, or the fade, spellcast fade. But let's just see, this should get us flames that are half transparent, and it does. So let's make sure that this would work outside of our flame entity, and we would test it just right here before we render them there and make sure that's working, and it is not. So we must be setting a color somewhere in our spellcast. See, I thought this would work. I thought this would still keep our render opacity, but something's happening in our entity class render that we are actually overriding that, and we do set a color to white. So let's turn that off, and let me just see. We didn't screw up the jimmies, and we are getting that opaqueness. So we'll leave that off for now. We might need to set this somewhere else. Set it to white. It's just that we only have a local variable for our spellcast fade, which is outside of our entity class. So I think setting it here is going to be okay. So this is going to be set fade for spellcast. Now, what we need to do is, instead of putting a number in here, we're going to put our spellcast fade. And then if we go up here and we say we start our spellcast fade at 255, it should be totally opaque. And if we switch this to 0, it should be totally clear, which it is. Okay. So we'll set it to 0. Now what we're going to do is we're going to test how fast we want our fade to come in and go out. So like, what speed is appropriate for this fade? So we're going to say that our spellcast fade here is going to get a math.min, because we don't want to pass 255. So we're going to say either 255 is going to be the smallest value, or the current spellcast fade plus delta time. And we'll see, we should probably print up our spellcast fade so we get an idea of what values our fade is looking at, so we can kind of have a reference to that. So let's go, I guess we'll just do it here. Love.graphics.print. And we want to say fade. And we're going to concatenate with our spellcast fade. Okay, then we want an X of 5 and a Y of 10. And hopefully that prints fade on screen, which we're not seeing it. Spellcast fade, that should be it. Now, we're not even seeing fade, so we're doing this wrong somewhere. And we're rendering it fine here. well, we are setting our color. Let's do it before we set our color. Let's see if fade shows up now. And it does. Okay, so delta time is just way too slow for it because our fire will slowly fade in, as you're seeing right now. So we need to speed that up. So maybe instead of delta time, which is like a 0.3, we just say time plus, let's do 1 a second. So that would be a 5-second ramp up about to full opaqueness. No, that's still slow. Let's do 10. Oh, crap. Yeah, that's time. That's time. We don't want that. We don't want that. Shit, yeah. Okay. So we're going back. Right here is what we want. That should be 1. Okay. Now we're still not rendering the fade, but it does slowly fade to opaque there, which is good, but we're not rendering. We want to render our text for the fade. So we're setting the fade, then we're rendering the spellcast entity, but when we are rendering our fade value, we want to set it back to white, which I'm not even see where we say fade. Where do we print it? We took it out. We took it out somehow. Okay, let's do it again. Love.graphics.print. We're gonna print up the string fade, and then we're gonna concatenate with our spellcast fade to a string at an x of 5 and a y of 10. We didn't concatenate. There we go. Okay, so yeah, see how that fades on? Now, let's take off the ability to only render it in a successful spellcast. So what we'll do is just comment this out for now. And we will just go ahead and render the entity regardless of successful spellcast. We can look at the speed that it's fading in. Now that's too slow, but that's looking better, so we're getting there. Now we have a spellcast fade, not a +1, maybe a +3. That looks better. +5. Okay. I want to see it go back down too, but that's... Yeah, it's hard to be objective about it, but maybe a tiny bit faster fading in, and then that'll be good. Yeah. I think about 6 is the sweet spot for the fade in, and that means we would also subtract this by 6 every frame in order to get the fade out. So now we just need to trigger this update function only if it's a certain spell cast, right? So let's go to our successful spell cast. Now we're gonna only render our fire if there is a successful spellcast. We're setting the alpha of those entities to be our spellcast fade. So now we just need to update our spellcast fade whether or not it is a successful cast or not. So we can add it, I guess we can add it to the top here. We'd want to do it before our spellcast entities update. Well, I guess it wouldn't really matter. Let's just add it here and we'll see. Did you? Oh, you caught a star there, aka Bob. Dude, did you see you? Yeah, you won. How much did you win in the slots right before you left yesterday? You won. You slotted 100 and you won. So if we're a successful spellcast, then we want to increment our spellcast fade up to but not past 255. And if we're not a successful spellcast, we kind of want to do the opposite. So we would want to shrink it, but not past 0. So we'll change this function so that it is a math.max, the bigger of two values. One value is 0, and the other value is a minus speed there. So now, if we're in a successful spellcast, okay, so here's the issue. Okay, so it does fade over time, but it's almost like we need to flush. Anytime it's not a successful spellcast, I think we might need to flush it back to 0. Let's see what that would look like, because it's not fading fast enough, and maybe we could just fade it twice as fast, because when you dive in and out of it, it just looks a little strange. Okay, yeah, maybe it's hard to say. Let's see what it looks like when we just wipe it back to 0, so it has to fade in all over again, and maybe we just speed up the fade in just a bit. Yeah, I kind of like that it has to fade in every time, I think. And then it should fade in just a bit faster. So if our fade in speed was maybe 10 instead of 6, let's see how that looks. Okay. Yeah, the fade does look better. Let's see what the shrinking looks like with this faster shrink. Okay. Yeah, it's just that. Okay. So we're only rendering. Okay, so here's the thing. We're only rendering the flames when we're in a successful spellcast. So that means the instant we're out of the successful spellcast, we stop rendering it, no matter what the opacity is. But we kind of want. We kind of don't want that. We want to. I think we want to render them no matter what, and we can just. I mean. We've already got the entities around us anyway, updating every second. So if we were to change the render just to be based on the spellcast fade instead of whether or not it's a successful cast, because we're only rendering them here, we're only updating our spellcast fade here, I think it'll look a lot smoother, and we can still do our hitbox detection only if it's a successful spellcast, but it might look smoother here. So look, if we're setting our color to fade anyway, but we're only rendering them if it's successful cast, but we should just render that at the fade amount, because then it'll fade. If we drop out of a successful spellcast, it'll start to fade down. Now, it doesn't mean that we would still be able to have a hitbox on it if we're not in the successful cast range, but it would make the animation a lot smoother. So let's go back here and actually render them no matter what, and it should be a lot smoother. We didn't turn this on. There we go. Should be smoother. Let's see. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, it kind of fades on to full and then fades out, and it doesn't have that fast kind of harsh. And let's boost our Manus regeneration here. Where is our minus gain that we do? I think it's in our play state, actually. Yeah, minus regen. Let's say our minus regen is actually 3 times as fast as it currently is, just to help us play. Yeah, that's... So now we can play a little bit easier. Okay. I think that speed is good for the fade. Now, we might want to... I still think we want to kind of fade it out a little faster, and I think we want to fade it in and out a little faster. So let's just change that ratio here in our scene. And then we might take a look at anything we might be able to refactor to clean this up, because we are going to have multiple entities and multiple spellcast entities, and I don't know how messy. We don't want our scene getting super messy, which if we continue how we are, it's gonna be really messy because it's already a couple hundred lines. So yeah, let's do like a plus. Let's see if plus 15 is way too fast and a minus 15 is way too fast. We'll see. Yeah, maybe 12. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Kind of slowly fades out. Okay. That looks a lot smoother. That looks a lot smoother. The 11. 12 felt a little fast. That looks pretty smooth. Okay. Yeah. That's looking smooth. Okay. So it is a little weird that we're rendering the entity even if they're not on screen. We're just rendering them with a completely opaque or a completely transparent alpha channel. Hey, nice walking, Tashio there, aka Bob. Yeah, we've got some animated emotes now, at least for the sub tier. And you know, I wanted to make them available for the followers, but Twitch doesn't allow that. I don't know if we have to unlock that or what, but it's kind of a bummer because I can't use my Finding Focus bot to tweet out or to send out the animated GIFs because my bot isn't a sub of the channel, so I have to use the stationary one for that. But maybe if we're at a different tier reward or something, we can have an animated GIF for our followers, but I'm not sure if Twitch allows that. That's looking so much smoother. That adds a lot of polish. Now I do want to see about adding a particle system to this to like, you know, not as dramatic as like the Doctor Strange sparks, but if we could add some kind of red sparks flying out of the flames as well, like upwards, it could look a lot more dynamic. So I do want to mess around with that. It will probably be slow going though, because I don't have any experience doing that. I'll show you guys the project I did do some particle system stuff with. So let's go ahead and go out. We'll git clone our repo, which is at our GitHub. I think it's called ssr.git. We need to give our channel though. ssr.git. Okay, looks like that's right. Let's go ahead and see. Now, we do have to edit our bash RC real quick. just so we can launch it with leader M. So let's go ahead and see our bash RC. We'll get a new repository here. And we'll say that this is our SSR now. So we quit out of there. We can source our bash RC. Okay, well, it'll just load here. If we go into our SSR, open a NeoVim here, then we can leader M and launch our game. So this is the game I had done with particle emissions. So you're supposed to roll these jalapenos and cook them. So like those are the particles. So right there, if you burn your feet, that's when the particles come out. So I'm kind of curious what my code for these particles look like, and we can at least use that as a starting point to, well, I burned it. Because you can't cook it more than, the answer to the puzzle is like you cook this one first and it falls in the hole, and then you can cook the second one and none of them get overcooked. So that's the only time I've done particle systems, and it's just a very little kind of, it's just, ignore the wiener class. I think it would be, what, in our level? Let's search for a particle system. Nope. Let's search for a particle. Okay. So it looks like in our player class, we give ourselves a particle system with 2 arguments. One is particle and the other is 50. Now, what is particle? Is particle a... Wow, okay. So yeah, we kind of had to set all this stuff for the different particle systems. I'm curious what particle is. Is that just a drawable? Let's see in our main here. Maybe it's in our main. I don't even see our main. There it is. Yeah, let's see. It's not there. Particle. Here it is. It is literally just an image of a particle. So that's probably just a black pixel, I'm guessing. Oh yeah, you're right, AK Bob. I think that is a possibility with channel points. Okay, so particle is just a picture. Let's take a look at that picture real quick and just see if it's black or white. I would assume it's black. Here. Okay, particle. It's literally just black. I don't know if... I mean, I'm guessing I made this, but Windows does this weird... I wonder if we open it with Sprite, we can actually see the real shapes of it. It's literally just a weird old circle. So I think if we could make it would be a small, I don't know if we'd want it to be 1 pixel or maybe 9 pixels with a slight fading, maybe. And then we can kind of adjust the color as needed with Love.graphics settings. So let's take a look again at our particle system here. So when we burn our toes, they kind of spawn, and then some stay low and some go high. Some go way to the right, some go to the left. So we want something kind of similar like this, but for our flame, but it would hopefully change colors. Like it would start a bright blue and fade to a darker blue as it gets further away from the spellcast. But then again, it would also be, if it's tied to the entity, as the entity spins, so would the particle system, which may not be the right thing. So maybe we want to mess with that. Like maybe it's outside of the actual spellcast entity so that it just kind of generates as it goes around us, but that gets a little messy if we only have one spellcast around us. So let's take a little further look at what this particle system means. So we've got a particle drawable, it's just a black pixel. And then we look at our player class, and we have two particle systems. Now I'm kind of curious if we don't render the second one, like what's the difference between the first one and the second one? So P system, and instead of rendering our second particle system, let's go ahead and leave it out and just see what the difference is. That looks like the same thing, so maybe we just, let's see. We'll take out the first one and look at what the second particle system is and see if there's anything useful. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we were maybe experimenting with this second particle system, so we'll just pretend that we've only got this first particle system. And let's take a look at how we generate it. So it's a love.graphics.new particle system. It takes in a particle and then another argument, which I don't know how many particles. So if we put 500 in here, would the amount of particles go up to 500? No. So what is the second argument here? I'm going to pull up some reference. Let's see. Buffer. The max number of particles. Okay, so it's just the max number of particles. Okay. So let's see. So 50 is the max. We set a lifetime for them to spawn. We set an emission rate, size variation, a linear acceleration, a color, an emission area, and then this is all our nonsense particle system 2. And then, so this game is based off of Steven's sausage roll, which he cooks hot dogs. I made a jalapenos version. So all the wiener references is because I made it a Steven sausage roll game first. So you were pushing wieners around. So that's why all these wiener references, but I'm really cooking jalapenos. So just if anyone's curious about that. They started off as hot dogs. Okay, so look, we've got an emission rate. And then what else do we do? Yeah, we just got an emission rate for our particle system. And then we just draw our particle system. Okay, so I'm kind of curious how much we set our emission rate to 0 there, which we have it here, so that's a little redundant, but let's just kind of we'll snag a couple of these functions for our particle system as a reference to make our other game particle system. So let's go ahead and I think I can make this, let's attach to our tmux, and we'll split our window here, and we'll go into, we have to update our bash RC as well, but we've got here, if we go into our player class, Okay, so those are our particle system stuff we need. We need to make a particle to input to the particle system. So we'll do that. It'll be very easy. And then we need to reset our bash RC here to be our Tashio profile, which is as simple as that. And then once we attach, we can still hopefully run our Tashio game here. Okay. And then now we can start adding our particle system. So let's go ahead and for right now, we'll say, I guess we'll do it up here. We'll make a local particle system. So our local particle system is going to get a love.graphics.new particle system. It takes in 2 arguments, which is a particle, which we will call particle, and then a max particles, which for now we'll just put 50. And then we need to make and import this particle. Yeah, we need to make and import this particle. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's give us a 9x9 A sprite here. And what we'll do is we'll just make a white pixel with a little bit of fading around it, right? So like we want a circle. So if that is our particle, then we kind of want, I guess we can kind of set like a half transparency here. Can we do that? Yeah. So if we erase, well, if we erase this outer layer and then just put semi-transparent particles around the outside. Then we have an easier time changing these colors in Lua, because if it's pure white, then we can just kind of tint the hue by changing the color before we render it. So I'm thinking something like that is probably good enough for our little particle. And it might be too big. It might be too big now that I'm thinking about it. Because 9 pixels is half the size of our tile size, so it is way too big. But yeah, we don't want it 9x9, we want it 9 total. Yeah, so that's our bad. We gotta do a 3x3. Ooh, that's looking more particly. Yeah, oh god. Okay, well, I guess we got this to work with. So if that's our particle, we'll see how this looks. Let's go ahead and save this as a PNG. And we'll put it in our repo here, graphics, and it'll be called particle PNG. Now we need to import it as a drawable. So we'll go into our main. Actually, it's not in our main, it's in our dependencies. Here we go. And we'll put it right here as a global variable. And we'll say... Now, there is a smarter way. I think we could make this local and then just give our class reference to it instead of inside the dependencies here. So we might experiment with that a bit later, but I might ask one of my Love programmer friends if that is what to do. So it's graphics particle.png. Okay, so now we have a global variable called particle that is the image of the particle we just drew. So now maybe if we go back to our scene, we've got a local particle system that we're getting a new Love particle system in. max of 50 with a particle passed in. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do these settings, which is we want our particle system to set its particle lifetime. Either 1 through 4. We're going to flush the emission rate to none so it doesn't start emitting particles. And then I don't think we need to pass in the set size variation. We'll put it in just to mess around with, but I don't think we need that. I mean, a 1 probably means don't vary the size, but I don't quite remember. And then we're gonna set our linear acceleration. And we'll have to look up other functions for the particle system here, because we might have like a circular acceleration or something that could look really cool. So we're going to play around with that a bit, but I'm just trying to get particles on screen at the moment. Okay. And then set colors. I don't know why there's so many arguments for set colors, but we'll have to look that up. Okay, there's what, 7 ones? Yeah, I don't know what the 8 colors of the set colors function is, but we can look that up. Set emission area, and this is another thing we might make a circle kind or something and experiment what that might look like. X of 10 maybe, Y of all the same. Okay, so all we should have to do is update our particle system's emission rate if our spellcast is going. And then we probably need to make sure we place it in the right spot too. So let's see how we're placing it here. We set the emission rate, and then when we go to render it, we render it at, we just hard code in an X and Y in this example. So we would have to give in our entity location. So we can maybe just put our entity 1 for now and just see, and we might give every entity a particle system, or we might just make it kind of circular. We don't exactly know yet. But all we should have to do is set an emission rate. And why don't we go ahead and just set the emission rate now to be like 20 or higher than that. When we burn our feet, we set it to like 855. So let's go set it to like 900. And then all we should have to do is render our particle system at a given X and Y. So let's go ahead, and at the end of our render here, we're going to say particle system render. We're setting our emission rate. Now, it shouldn't be render, it should be just draw. It should be love.graphics.draw. And what we're drawing is our particle system. And where we're drawing it is going to be, let's put virtual width divided by 2 in the middle of our screen, right? So virtual height divided by 2. And new particle system texture expected got nil. let's put... This particle isn't being registered. We might have not saved our dependencies. Let's make sure we saved it. Save, render. Okay, still doesn't work. We must have just saved this in the wrong place. Let's make sure this isn't in the wrong place or anything. We should have particle, which it is. It's teeny tiny. We saved it in the right place. Particle, graphics, particle. Graphics, particle. Okay, so maybe our scene just doesn't have access. We're requiring our scene before we describe this. I don't see why that would really be an issue. Well, let's just put this, for now, we'll just put this inside our scene so we know we have local access to it. We'll probably need to move it, but let's just get it on screen here. Now, I didn't see any particles. So let's just boost our lifetime a bit. We might need to set our color because our fade could be happening right now. Our spellcast fade could be affecting it. So what we'll do is just set our color to be white right before we render those. And we'll see if we got particles. Not quite. Let's see if we're doing anything different in this render. We just love.graphics draw the particle system at an X and a Y. Now we might need a higher emission rate, or we might need to update our emission rate. Yeah, maybe our emission rate needs to get set in the update function. I don't really see why that would make a much difference though, because we're fleshing it to 0 here, then we set it. So as long as we're setting our emission rate for our... Where is it? Yeah, we set it here. Let's just put this in our update function and just see if that changes anything. Still don't see the particles. Oh, was there something in the bottom left there? Uh-oh. What just happened there? Why did it do that? Okay. What? Okay, I don't know what happened there, but... Yeah, not seeing particle systems. So what is going on? And we're not crashing anymore, so that makes me think that we're actually having a particle system. Oh, we're not updating our particle system. We need to update it. So we will go to our scene here. And we will update this instead of setting the emission rate. We'll go update delta time. Look at our particles. Look at that. Okay. That's really cute. It looks like little butterflies or something. Okay. Yeah, the particles look wild because of there's like some aliasing going on because of the scaling. let me see. Let's go to our main here. Here's our main. We're gonna set resizable to true here, so we can go ahead and play with this. Yeah, honestly, we might just need a single pixel as our particle. Let's see what that looks like. So we'll literally just make a single pixel. Now, I'm wondering if we can just like save it as a love.graphics rectangle. Yo, nice slots win, aka Bob. 400? Dude, what did you hit? Did you hit sevens? What did you hit? 400 on a slot? That's got to be the record on the channel. Okay, yeah, we're literally gonna make one pixel export. Okay. Save this as a PNG. And the PNG is going to be called particle. You're going to save over it. Now we shouldn't have to do anything else other than run our game to have our 1 pixel particle. Nice. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, 1 pixel is the way to go. Okay. So now we kind of have a little playground to play with, spawning them in different locations and different values to see if we can get anything we like, any kind of behavior we like out of it. So let me go ahead. We'll close this for now. What is it? Okay. Let's go take out our fade, which is in our scene. And we can insert a bunch of random different parameters here to our particle system and just play around and see if there's any unique behavior, as well as we can look up some documentation for any kind of interesting particle system stuff we might be able to do with Love2d, because I haven't experimented too much with it. Now, what we can do at least is let's see if we up our emission rate and up our, I guess if emission rate is the same as the max particles, that's probably okay. 500 max particles, let's see. Wow. Oh, that looks really cool. Wow, that looks cool. Let's move it down to the bottom so it just doesn't look like it's in the middle there. So we'll go ahead and render it. Not at a virtual height, but it'll be at our screen height limit. Okay. Wow, that looks awesome. So we want to play with the colors, right? We want it to start light blue and then fade to dark blue. And then we also want to kind of mess around with how it looks, like if there's any set emission area to be like a circle maybe. I'm kind of curious about that. So actually before, I think I do actually want it to be in the middle there, because if we're getting new behavior from it, we don't necessarily want it all to be going up like that. So let's see if there's any sort of interesting particle system stuff here. Love2d set emission. What was it called? Set emission something? Emission area. Set emission area. I wonder if there's a circle for this. Distribution. Direction relative to center. So we're literally just giving it a dx of 10 for the emission area. So it's almost like we also give it an angle and a direction relative to center. Kind of want to see that used in an example because I don't know what that would mean, but like let's just give it some values here for the other parameters. Hey, thanks for the raid. Adagon Dev, I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream here. We're working on some particle emitter stuff here in Love2d, so we're trying to just we're trying to add some particles for the spellcasting here, but I'm not so familiar with the particle system, so I'm trying to just play around in this sandbox and see what we can get, so we can add hopefully colored sparks to our flamecast spell here. Thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. So yeah, we're just trying to put different parameters here into our emission area. Now can I give circle here as an argument? Does it know what circle is? No. None, uniform, normal, ellipse. That's what we want. Ellipse. Okay. That is weird. I think that's not what I think it is. I think that's... Well, let's put in a different y value here and see if ellipse gives us anything new. Oh, yeah. It definitely made a little circle there. Yeah, so it kind of starts... It's just kind of setting the area for those. So this would actually work pretty good. We would just, instead of going up, we might want to go outwards, away from the center here. And I can give everybody some money who's in chat there for stream avatars. That's looking pretty good for, like, you know, because if we put the ellipse to be our players X and Y, and we update that emitter to be, let's try to just do that. Let's put our particle system tethered to our player so that we can go see what that might look like. So we'll go ahead and put our self.player.x as our starting point. Now I think we want to offset by half of our player width, which would be 8. Then we would also want... How was your stream, Adagon Dev? Yo, who's got a Moltres? Is that you, aka Bob? Who is this? Yeah, okay. I thought it would be you. Yo, good job on the Moltres. That's awesome. Yeah, I should have known. You're the only one who has 250 gold to make it. Okay, nice. You know, I've been wanting to check out Godot. So many streamers here on Twitch are on Godot, and I am very curious. But it's one of those curses where it's like, I've got the most experience in Love2d and Lua, so if I want to make something fast, it's this for me right now. But, so it's like, you know, we've got some particles on our player, which is fine, but we want them to go outwards, right? And we want them to change colors, and we don't want it to be, maybe we want the ellipse border instead of the ellipse, because we don't want it filled where we are, we want it around us. So we'll go see, I think it was called ellipse border. Border ellipse. Let's try that. Yeah, and I haven't used Godot before. I hear a lot of good things about it, and a lot like, yes, that's what we want, this border ellipse. We just want to give our particles an outwards. This is looking wild. I like that. Oh, that's cool. There's a lot of good tutorials for both Love2d and Godot because they're, you know, they're free game engines, so I really love that. So ideally, we would also set our particle system to be the same transparency as our elements there, or as our spellcast. And then we would also want them to go, see how none of them are going downwards? So we'd want to make that linear acceleration. I feel like if we give this a plus 20, they would also go downwards. Yeah. Yeah, they're just going way high. Let's just do all 20s all around. Okay. So we don't want them coming inwards, we just want them going away from us. Now there is a direction relative to center as a argument here for our emission area. But I don't think that'll help us. That's just, I think we have to just make sure that, gosh, I don't know how to only make them go outwards. Whoa. That looks cool. That's like getting abducted by aliens. I need to look up the parameters for this because I don't know what they are. All negative numbers make them go all up and to the left. Wow, that looks wild. So if there's a negative x, let's try a only negative. See, I thought that would be directly left, but it's not. I'm gonna just look up what these arguments are instead of just guessing here. It's our particle system set linear acceleration. So Adagon, are you just building a are you just like making an easy template for you to get started on a project, like just like a boilerplate kind of Godot template? X min, Y min, X max, Y max. Minimum acceleration. Okay. So this is tough because I don't know how we would get it to where all the particles are going away from the center of the circle. This has been replaced by set gravity. Well, I guess, I don't know, it's up to us how we want the game to look. Maybe we work on, let's see what the set colors of the particle system looks like. That Moltres is awesome. Yeah, we're dropping frames like crazy. I don't know why that's happening. Oh no, we're tanking. Yeah, our stream's crapping out. Okay. Okay, so it's got, you can kind of set a fade, I guess, for it. So let's get two values. Let's get a cyan value and a darker blue value. Template to make game jams easier. Nice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just want to be able to like get something on screen, something updating, and then you can just run with that. I totally get that. I've got a similar one for Love2d that I've been meaning to kind of clean up a bit with like some state machines and you know, full screen and resizable screen, that sort of stuff. RGB1 alpha, RGB2 alpha. Okay, so let's look up the values here for... We want like a cyan color. Let's use this for now. We'll use this cyan color and this dark blue color. So, oh, we don't want hex though. We want the RGB. Yeah, we want RGB here. How many game jams have you done, Adagon? I've done one. Yeah, they're super fun. I think they're great. Okay, so that's easy. That's just 0 red, green blue. So if we do 0 1 1, it should be that cyan color, and then that's the alpha, and then we want a dark blue, so we'll go dark blue. Maybe that's 0 0 1 5 3. So we'll do 0 0 and then 153 out of 255 with an ultimate fading. They would fade to nothing, so the 0 on the alpha there sounds right. So let's go ahead and see that. Nice. Yeah. So that paired with our blue fire, it's about the same colors, right? So it's like, let's give our X min, Y min, X max, Y max. Okay, cool. So it's looking kind of cool. Like, we want to tether our particle system opacity to our spellcast entity opacity. The circle looks a little bit off. We can afford to like move it a little bit down, it looks like. Well, yeah. Yeah, a little bit down and a little bit smaller maybe. So maybe this is 15 instead of 20. Wow, 15, that's awesome. Hey, feel free to share one here in chat, like whichever one you might want us to check out. Or I don't know if they're on like itch.io or anything. We can maybe try playing them real quick. Okay, so we don't want them to be as crazy. Like, see how far they're going? We don't want them to go that far. So I would think that would be maybe here in the max. They're still going pretty damn far. Yeah, that's probably not it. We could fade him out a little bit faster too. Okay, hey, this is cool. We'll see here. Oh, I just saw Bracky's name, which I haven't read in a while. I miss that guy. Wow. Is Bracky's back? Is Bracky's doing stuff again? I thought he took a little hiatus or a permanent hiatus. I'm trusting you to not run a virus here on us. Whoa! That's cool. Wow, dude, this is awesome. This, dude, the interactive window is really cool. Like, do you have to... This is awesome, dude. Timeout. I guess I gotta kill him and run off. Oh, wow, yes. This is awesome, dude. This is a great idea. Oh, wow, this is a great idea, man. That's great. I love that idea. Yeah, I'm gonna play that some more later. That is cool. Good job on that. That was really cool. Thanks for sharing that. That was probably a little hard to see because it was so tiny for everyone, but that was really cool. Yeah, we want them to kind of... I don't know if we want all the particles to go up or not. They probably should. Well, I don't know, because it's like magic doesn't really have any... We can make our own logic to magic. But this... I want to say that it would be this linear acceleration to be how far they go outwards, right? So like if we change this to 10 all around, it should be half as far they go out. Yeah. Well, no, they still go really far. Maybe that just means we need to make them die faster. Okay, and then we'll just make less of them, and then... Yeah, sorry guys, the stream is like crapping out at 2,000 kilobits here. I don't know what's up. Yeah, maybe we'll make this... Let's try 100 and see how that looks. Yeah. So the thing is, if we only have one, we need to shift this down just a bit for some reason. I feel like it's right around our character, which actually looks right. So maybe that means we need to scoot. Oh, okay, I think I know why. It's because if we were to draw our fire elements as the squares that they are, since they're 16 by 16, we're kind of shifting them down a bit. So I guess it just proves that we're off a little on the rendering. Let's boost our circle just a tiny bit in terms of diameter. Yeah, Dev, that was really cool game. I liked that. So that was all Godot, and Godot can Godot port to all systems like Linux and Mac as well? I don't know how that works. Yeah, you know what? Let me see. Maybe I just want an upwards trajectory here. So maybe the Y is a 0 on the Y min. No, that's not right. Up is negative, so we want the minimum to be 10 and then the positive, or the max to be 0. Then it should only go up. Yeah. Yeah. And then let's make the transparency a little less for our brighter spots here. So like maybe 100 out of 255. Well, Can't really see him there. I would like to have some kind of spinny, because right now it's just like a static circle around us. I guess once we see, let's shift our. We've got to shift our flames up just a tiny bit. Like my brain was thinking, well, yeah, we can afford to shift up our flames just a bit. So wherever our spellcast entities are being set, or being updated with a position, we can go ahead and shift that up just a bit. So here, instead of the Y just being this, I think if we shift it up maybe 5 pixels, let's see. That looks a little more aligned with our circle here. Yeah. So now let's try to tether our particle system opacity to our spellcast fade here. So that should be as easy as putting our spellcast fade. We'll set our color. Actually, yeah, how do we do this? Because we were doing... Yeah, we just set our color to be the spellcast fade. So pure white, but with a spellcast fade. So instead of setting it to white, we set it to the spellcast fade, and now we shouldn't see our particle system unless we've got our spellcast around us. And it's tethered to that opacity, so that's kind of cool. I'm not really that jiving with it, though. I feel like... So I don't like that this particle system is being updated, you know, whether or not we're rendering it at all times. So it's a little, you know, it's not very efficient in that sense. P system. We're setting... Yeah, we're updating it over time, so maybe we only update it if we're, you know, in a successful spellcast or something, but I also don't like... I feel like... Oh, okay, gotcha. That's really cool, though. It can go to mobile, too. I like that a lot. But yeah, that game would make sense that it couldn't really go to mobile as easy, but the fact that Godot can do it is really cool. So yeah, I don't like that our system... Like, for example, if we go to our flame count, and we set our flame count to be equal to 1 because we're at the beginning of the game and we don't have 5 flames just yet, then when we're casting one spell, it's still a circle like that, which kind of helps the player see the range of the spell cast. But I kind of feel like it might gosh, yeah, our stream's really crapping out here. I feel like we kind of want our particle system to be tethered to each. Like instead of one big particle system for the whole circle around us, I think we want a little baby particle system for each entity. And then we can kind of set its location to be relevant to the thing that's rotating around us. So I think we would want to change it to be something like that. I guess let's see if we can put a tiny particle system on the entity itself. Yeah. So our entity is a flame count. Okay, but it's a little tricky because we don't want to be putting our particle system in our entity class, because everything from a gecko to a hermit crab to anything else is also an entity, and we don't necessarily want particle systems for those things. So we might need to just make a new class for spellcast entities. And then we can only assign the particle system to spellcast entities. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know why our stream's kind of crapping out. It might be something with OBS here. I know I got fast enough internet. I paid for fast enough internet. Okay, so I'm gonna have to think about how we're gonna accomplish this, because right now our spellcast entities are of type entity class, and if we add a particle system for just entity, it would add it for geckos or for anything. So we don't really want to do that. I guess we could generate a particle system based on the flame count and kind of give each one a different little particle system, but we'd have to do... I guess if we have our local... Let's try this. Like, we can say, for our flame count, we're going to go ahead and give it a local particle system that we're setting all this stuff. I don't know if this would be... I don't think we'd be able to add more than one at this point, but let me see if that... Okay. So our update doesn't have access to this because it's local, so we would have to do... I don't like the idea of doing the global particle system. That is working, but it's like... And then we would maybe set our Y-min to our spellcast entity X once it's updated, which we aren't even doing that here, so maybe we don't want this here. We'd want it for every flame count, but after we update our flame count, which is where we update our particle system, so maybe we want it here. And for the minimum acceleration, maybe we want this to be our... oh gosh, we don't even want it here. We want this... Crap. Yeah, this is not right. We want this to be after our player. After we update our player. So maybe right here, we can go ahead and update our particle system, which would have a linear acceleration of our player X. Let's just do player self.playerX and a self.playerY here as our minimum. Okay, it doesn't like... We need this to be up top. Okay, that isn't working like I was hoping it would. Now, maybe we just need to put our different draw mode, our different, instead of border ellipse, maybe it's just normal. Oh, and you know what? It's the emission area we'd want to set. So, yeah, maybe we put in, oh god, what just happened? We put in a normal mode emission area, and we give it an emission area of our player X and our self dot player Y. Now I'm also going to take off the transparency for now, just so I can make sure it's being placed right. So we're going to make sure 10 pixels to the left, or we want it to go up, so the minimum Y would be -10. Is that right? Let's see. And we would take off our setting, our transparency for our particle system here. And we'll see if we just have one particle system following our flame. Oh, it's not. It looks magical. Yeah, so we're drawing our particle system at our player X, which isn't ideal, I don't think. Because it's like, if we're updating our particle system's position, well, we aren't. We're updating the emitting position. But we don't want to be moving our particle system and updating based on the emit. I don't know what I'm saying. Virtual width divided by 2. And virtual height divided by 2. So now we're not moving the particles, but we're not setting the emit location to be our X of our entity. So let's just see if we can get that. Now, if we put this to be negative self.player X, actually, I feel like minimum, no, yeah, let's put a positive number here. And then the max we'd want to be is a self.player.x plus 10. And we'll leave 0 there, we'll see. Yeah, that's not quite working. This is cool for snow though, you know, like if we can get this to be set to white, this is actually pretty compelling snow. Trying the Vim shortcut to highlight what's in the brackets. There we go. Okay. I like this as like a snow, you know? Like if we're in the desert, we have, oh, whoa, something. Yeah, my bad. We're still not updating this particle system's. It's like if we want the particles, I guess we don't really want the particles to move. It's like, since the thing is spinning, if it spits out particles and then they don't move and it spins around it, those particles would just go where they spawn, not be moved, but spawn at a certain point and then go upwards. Hey, thanks Adagon Dev. I really appreciate the raid. You have a good night, dude. Okay, so I think we need to go back here to setting this as our -10 for leftward, -10 for upward, and then a max of 10, and then make sure we don't move it downwards. So we do want a smaller, because we want this to be only where a fire just was. So we need to shrink the spawn point of this, the emit size. We want it to be I think we want the player.x here, but we only want like, I think this is a range, so I wonder if we can put like 5, and if that's a range. No. So I guess I'm not understanding, well, I guess we're not updating the emission area by our X position, but yeah, we would want this to be a low number because we don't want it to be varied very much about where it spawns. That's looking pretty good. So now we just need to move, we need to update our emission area to be our players. Actually, and we're doing that, aren't we? This is in our update. But I guess we need to update our... Okay, I'm a little confused. I don't know if we even need this if we're... Okay, we do need this. Does this mean that we just need to update our particle system after all of those sets? Okay, yeah, I'm not sure how to get this to update. We're doing it in the update function, but it's not changing. Well, the emission area is totally different. You know, we don't want an emission area of our player X. We want our emission area to be, yeah, just like maybe like a 4 or 5 pixel width. Like we just want one little spot, which is looking dangerously close to what we started with when we pulled up our SSR. But yeah, we want a lot less particles than this. Okay, so we want less X change and more Y change. So we give a smaller minimum X value and Let me just put a -40 there, see if it goes way crazy. Yeah, that's... So if we imagine those particles being spawned where an instantiation of this fire is. Yeah. That looks cool. Let's just see, yeah, if we render, yeah. Now, we're going back to putting it where our player is, just so I can kind of see if that's looking okay when we're moving. Like, I want to see if the... Yeah, because I think... Because the particles shouldn't be tethered to where we're at. They should be... They should be only where they spawned, and then as the flame keeps rotating, those particles don't move whether or not we move. So I think we're on the right track here. So we just need to change the X position. Well, yeah, how do we do this? Because we don't want... Gosh. It's almost like... Let's try to tether the emission area to our entity. Now, we do have one entity called spellCast entity at index 1 at this point because our flame count is 1. So our self.spellcast entities at the 1th at the first index.x. Let's see if we put in our, not our emission area, but our particle systems rendering. But we don't want to move. We don't want to move the render for it, because then the particles will be pulled by whatever the rotation is. So we kind of want to just set. There might be another particle system. There's got to be another particle system location. Yeah, we're only getting 4 megs upload speed for some reason. Let me see. Love2d particle system X location. Let's just see if there's like a set X. Because it's like, as if the particle emitter is tied, yeah, we want it like tied to the flame, but we don't want the particle system tied to the flame. We just want the emitter tied to the flame. So if the yeah, I think we just want the emitter tied to the flame, but I'm not sure how to put. Because this set emission area just changes the width of our particle system. Not the X or Y position of our particle system. So how come, where are we setting the actual X and Y of our particle system outside of our render? Like we're drawing it at an X and Y, but we don't have access to which or where that X and Y is. I'm curious if we put in like a 5 on this size variation, what happens? Oh. 0.5. I don't really see a difference. Maybe because it's 1 pixel, it can't do much with that. But yeah, we just want to set. I want to see if we've got access to a field called X in our particle system. We don't. Yeah, I'm just not understanding where the X of the emitter is. So there's got to be like an emitter location or something. Oh, we can get position of the emitter, but I don't know how to. modify the position of the emitter, if that's just the particle system get position, can we assign the get position to be a different value? Oh yeah, look, get X and get Y. Okay. But can we change that X and Y? Get X and get Y. So if this is in our update, and we can say local XY is gonna be equal to P system get, well actually yeah, we don't want to. I think like let's see if we can say that 20 and 20 are X and Y, and then we're gonna try to assign this won't work. We can't do get X. Do we have to run that as a function? Yeah, we I don't think we'll be able to do that. Here, move to. Move the position of the emitter. Let's see that. And that looks like it's still supported. Move to X and Y. Okay. It's literally just move to. So let's try that. P system move to takes in an X and a Y, and an X and a Y we want to set it at is our self.spellCast entities at our first position dot X, and then our same spellcast entities ith position. Now we need to offset it as well, but let's just see if we can move the emitter to be where, yes, look at that, yes. Oh, wow. So yeah, we need to offset this. Because yeah, this proves, wow, that looks really cool. We could add little fairies or something like that too. Wow, that looks really cool. Okay, so we need... Why is it so far away? Why is it so far away? So it's like our particle system is just... Maybe we need to offset it by a virtual width. Nope. That's looking closer, but it's still... It's close, but it's still off. Why is it? It's close. Oh, that's looking cool. Yeah, that's looking cool. Oh, it's looking... It looks off just by a couple. Oh, and you know what? It's only off because that's the top left of our sprite. So all we gotta do is add 8 to both, and it should be right in the center of our fire, but we don't want it in the center of our fire. We want it at the bottom of our fire. So if the center is X, which is fine, we want it to be a couple pixels shorter. Maybe not quite the very bottom of our fire, but maybe 13. 3 pixels up from the very bottom of our fire. And then now, oh yes, dude, yes. That's cool. And then we just go back to make sure that we've got, instead of always drawing it, we only draw it here. Now, I still don't like the fact that we're always rendering the particle system and we only see it if we're like this. Oh my gosh, that's cool though. We don't have it scalable for each one, right? We would need a new particle system for each flame count, but, and you know what? The particles shouldn't be tied to the fade. They should, the particles should only be fading on, because the particles should just dissipate as they would normally. If your flame goes, they shouldn't fade like that. So we want a different fade. We want a fade on. We only want a fade on for the particles. But that means we'd have to reset. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. That's looking cool though. It's only one fire though. Gosh, that's awesome though. Oh, I like that. Yeah, because if we move away from those particles, well, ignore that, but we move away from the particles that were generated, they remain in their location and they just fade up. So we can see that better if we increase our death time. But that's looking really good. Yeah, if we double this death time just to see, and then maybe we double our particles, let's just see how that looks. Because we want them, and you know what, let's go back, let's put it full white rendering so we can see that they stay in place. But we don't want them to fade if we're not in a successful spellcast. We want them to fade as they would normally fade. So like, see how they're lingering in that location I was at? They should linger if you're moving. They shouldn't disappear until they normally would disappear. So this is looking cool though, I like this. So how would we get them to disappear? I guess we would only trigger them to come on. We can only trigger them to come on if our spell fade is above a certain number. And then if that spell fade is above a certain number, we go ahead and render them. Yeah, how would we set the color? Because we want them to like adaptively get opaque as our spellcast fade goes up, but we don't want them to fade like our our fade does. So maybe we just have a different. We would still have to shrink them. We would still have to change their opacity so that it would ramp up again. Or we don't. Or we just, yeah, maybe we just don't set it on the fade at all. And we just, if we've got even a tiny bit of, let's see what that would look like if we don't set it to the fade. Oh, it's because, okay, no, we need to set it to the fade, but maybe we set it, okay, I've got an idea here. We set it to white if our spellcast fade is greater than, let's say, 30 or something. If it's 30, then we're gonna go ahead, set our color to just white because we don't wanna fade them out. We just want to render them only if, and the greater than 30 is like greater than the starting up phase of our spellcast. So we shouldn't see them here. And if we only, well, yeah, maybe it needs to be closer to 80 or something. See, I don't want them to fade away there. I want them to linger and fade away as they would. And there's even one more step to this, because it's like as we come on here, there's particles all around us already that are visible when they shouldn't be. The particles should only be existent when the flame is existent, and then fade as they will. And then if we're out of our successful spell cast, all our particles get reset so that we don't have any floating around us at this point. So this is tougher than I thought it'd be. Well, I mean, it's both tougher than I thought it'd be, and we're figuring it out. So we just need to do something different here. For right now, we'll keep our fade. But yeah, we do want, and that would get around our problem of like having a particle system at all times. I'm kind of curious, because if we go back to a flame count of 5, it wouldn't look as compelling, I don't think, because it would still be only coming from one flame. I mean, it still looks fine. Yeah, it still looks fine, actually. It just doesn't look like it's coming from any flame in particular. It's just kind of hard to tell. But yeah, we shouldn't have lingering particles that become visible if we cast another spell. Okay, so I'll do some thinking how to maybe pull this off. It'd have to be that we'd have to like flush our system somehow, flush our particle. I don't know how we would flush all of the particles that have been emitted if a certain thing is true. Destroy, well, because yeah, it's like we want, I think maybe we do something similar where we only spawn it from the emitter if our fade is above a certain position, but then we fade them no matter what, as they will fade. But then if our spell cast is, yeah, how would we? No, yeah. Okay, because yeah, we wouldn't have particles on screen by the time we spellcast if the emitter is only emitting them once we reach a certain point of spellcast fade. So that would fix our lingering particles problem. We just need to only emit particles if a certain thing is true. So let's see if we can figure that out, and then we'll call it a night. So where are we actually emitting our particles here? We're doing it here. So do we only do this stuff if our fade is above a certain point? Let's see if we can say if our spellcast fade is greater than 80, then go ahead and set your emission rate, do all that stuff. Move this, and then we would say otherwise set our emit rate to 0. Let's see. So now we should only have an emission rate if our spellcast is about to be fully faded in. So let's see. Nice. Okay, that's close, because we're still fading our pixels as that goes, and we want them to kind of just drift off. We don't want them to fade with our fire. But that is good for the emission. We might want to change this a little lower maybe, but we are currently rendering it based on the fade, so we'll just go back to rendering it white. And then maybe since we don't have them emitting anymore, we don't need to do that. Yes, that's right. Oh, wow. Hey, T Sundown. Thank you for the raid, brother. I appreciate that. We just got some particle emitting for our spellcasting abilities. Yo, dude, I was watching your stream almost all day at work today, so it's pretty surreal. Hey, everybody. Hey, this is awesome. So yeah, we're building a top-down adventure game. We just got some particles working for our spellcasting ability. So I actually want to show you guys. We can put on... How was the end of your stream there? I had to duck out because I was streaming myself. Thanks, dude. Yeah, thanks. So look, we can have up to 5 flames around us. We only have the particle system for one of the fires just yet. But our particles are looking pretty cool. I'm happy with them because we just got the particles to linger while our fire fades out. So our fire will fade out, but our particles still linger a bit. So yeah, thank you, Sundown. That means a lot. I mean, I almost ripped off, I mean, I've been ripping off Link's Awakening to do this. Yeah, man. Hey, get your stuff done. I appreciate you. Thank you for the raid. I really appreciate it. We've got some links here about our game if you guys want to see. But yeah, I hope you have a good rest of the night, and I'm a big fan of the Feathered Serpent, so I'm excited for that to come out. We are wrapping up our stream here, actually, because we just finished the last thing we wanted to do, which was our particle system on this. So the next step is going to be putting the emitter on all of the flames. So whether or not we have 1 flame or 5, that we only get the particle emitter for the spell that we're actually casting. So there's ultimately going to be different spells. You know, this is just the first fire spell. We also need to not update the particle system when we're transitioning scenes. But this is a good, I think this is getting to be a good stopping point for the day. Sorry, I mean, I've got it. Yeah, exactly. I'll pass it to somebody here. We'll find a small streamer here that we can raid. Let's see if we can find. I mean, do you guys want to see anything else? Hey, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just started streaming 6 weeks ago, I think. Hey, that was our follower goal. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I've been, you know, I've been in love with the community here on the Software Game Dev channel here on Twitch, and T Sundown and Practical NPC are my main go-tos for lurking, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm wrapped up for the day, so I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I appreciate the raid so much, but I'm not sure what else to show you guys. We've got what we came to do, so we'll go ahead and we'll see if we can raid someone else and pass on the raid train here. Let's see. I don't have any friends that are online who do the game dev stuff. Does anyone have a suggestion for someone to raid right now? Because I've got no smaller channels to raid here, but it'd be fun to kind of pass it off. Let's see. Thornity Co. Let's check out Thornity Co. here. Okay, looks like Thornity's playing a game right now. I kind of want to find someone who's programming. I know Adam C. Eunice, he's got 100 right now. It would be fun to raid him. We can go do that. He's doing some pixel art right now, so let's go do that. Let's do... And you know what? I just messed this up. Sorry, guys. I'm new to Twitch. We've been streaming only like 5 weeks or so. But I've been loving all the support from everyone. And Sorry you guys caught me at the very end of my stream, but I stream every night around 7 Mountain Standard or Mountain Daylight. But we'll go ahead and raid Adam. And yeah, guys, I'm like you guys, excited for Feathered Serpent to come out. And Sundown was actually the reason I pivoted my game completely a couple weeks ago. I was basing my game off a book, but now it's totally original because I want to shoot for a Steam release thanks to Sundown. So I've got him to thank for that. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the raid. Thanks for all the love. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch y'all later. Give me a follow if you're interested in the project. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Yeah, have a good night, everyone. Thank you, guys.